Hey guys, I had this solid core door put in from the gas company / Edison through their energy program, and unfortunately the nice door that was there got rotten. So I'm gonna turn this solid core door into a nice about $300 to $400 door. You can pick up one of these solid core doors for about $60 at a local hardware store. So let's begin. Alright, so I wanted to make a template for the router. That way whenever the template goes on one side of the door, I can put it on the other side and it'd be exactly the same spots and everything. Easy to use a plunged router to router out all the squares and what I'm going to do. Here's my router that I'll be using. I have this bushings right here. This will be a guide for the template to go around. So you have to actually measure from where your guide's going to be to the edge of the router. That way you're not digging into where you want to be. This was 1/8, so I had to adjust the wood, the template 1/8 inch outward. So that way the squares will be exactly where I want to be. This is going to be more like a modern door. It was preferred by my wife, so she gets what she gets. But anyways, so now you can use white wood or anything. You know, more expensive wood. Actually, wood's getting quite expensive right now. At least it is in California. White wood is the cheapest, but it has a lot of knots, and I was afraid with the router it might hit those and create deficiencies in the wood. Also, you know, the knot on a side, that's not good. So anyway, so I ended up using plywood. This one's actually 3/4 inch plywood, which is, you know, way overdone for a template. But the reason why I use 3/4 inch plywood, because I'm going to do pocket holes to hold the template together, and I want to make sure the screws actually get in. I was hesitant. I was thinking about 1/2 inch, but it was just too thin and flimsy and stuff. So whatever, 3/4 is fine. I just will adjust the router to the depth that I need. So I actually had the local hardware store cut these down to a estimated smaller size, a little bit wider actually than what I'm going to use, because their saw, well, is not that good. When I heard them cutting other ones, they were binding and everything, so I want to make sure I get a nice even cut. Plus this didn't go in a truck, it actually was going in a car, so I needed it smaller. Another good thing about using the plywood was almost the wood that I would have used would cost as much as a piece of plywood. So I was able to cut 4 strips and still have a 2-foot by 8-foot sheet of plywood available for me for other projects. So I'm all about saving money. Not everyone has money. You know, try to make it easy on us. Plus I like to use scraps and stuff like that. So yeah, so this was the best fit for me at this time. So let's begin stripping the wood down to the sizes. All right, so around the door I'm going to do 5 inches thick. So I need to cut a 1/8 inch smaller for the router, so it's going to be 4 7/8. So I'm going to run 3 runs of that through the table saw first, and then I will do the other size. And yes, I need a vacuum for my table saw. I actually need a new table saw, but this was cheap at the time. This was like 10 years ago. So yes, I need to upgrade my table saw and a lot of sawdust. So now let's adjust this and I'll cut another piece. All right, so I needed 3-inch strips for the cutouts of the rectangles that'll be in the bottom of the door. So since I needed 3/4, remember you gotta use that 1/8 for the guide of the router. You gotta take that off. But now I gotta router squares, so I gotta do that on both sides. So take out 1/4, so I have that 2 3/4 instead of 3 inches. So let me rip this. All right, now I got my pieces ripped. The thing is if you have a crappy table saw like I do, or if you have none on that matter, you can get these done at the local hardware store. Just make sure you measure where you want it and mark it. Don't go off of their measurements off their panel saw, because it's not always accurate. If you need accuracy, then you need to measure it and give it to them, so that way they don't get frustrated because they have other customers they gotta help out and stuff. So help them out and measure everything where you need it, and then just rip it. And then you can bring it back and use your chop saw if you want to do the actual cuts the other way. So let's actually use a chop saw. We'll cut them to the lengths that I need, and then we'll assemble this. All right, I need two 25 and 7/8 for the width of the door. Actually, I need 3 of them for the width of the door. So let me get this cut, and I'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to use a pocket hole jig, and I'm going to drill pocket holes in all the sides that I need to, and then we'll assemble this. I'll be right back. So unfortunately, I made a mistake that I already planned on doing, something different, but it still won't matter too much. The plywood has an unfinished or a sanded side, which is nice, and then an unsanded finished side, which is the side that I wanted to do the pocket holes, which obviously I messed up on this side. So that was the first piece. Now on, I'm going to do all the other side. The reason why I don't want it on the side that's finished, because that's where the router is going to go. And if I hit any, any burrs or something here or whatever when I'm drilling, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to, now on, do it on the right side. So here we go. All right, I got the pocket holes drilled out. I didn't do it on the longer pieces, which are the sides of the door, because these are actually screwing to those panels. So we wouldn't need that. So let's assemble this. All right, I have laid this out, so I'm gonna screw it together, and then my template will be done. Be right back. All right, the frame is done. As you can see, yeah, there's a space here. I'm not cutting this out. I only use this as a piece that I would cut off of here, so I didn't waste more wood. So that's fine as long as it's even to the top. Everything else falls in line. Usually the toe kicks are around 10 inches, so that'll be fine. So the next step would be to mount this and start routering out the door. But I'll leave that for the next video. This video took a little longer than I wanted, so just showed you the cuts, the template of the door, and then the next door we'll actually finish routering and installing the glass and everything. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Look out for the next video and many more to come. Thank you guys. Bye.